You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Southgate Real Talk. I am your host for this podcast, Robert Montalvo. As always, I like to begin every episode by thanking you, the listener. Thank you for downloading it. Thank you for listening, for sharing, talking about all the subjects and issues that we talk about on this podcast. I absolutely rely on you to let me know what to talk about and what issues to bring up on here, whether it's our brown water here in Southgate, a new business opening, or just anything that's on your mind. The email address is southgaterealtalk@yahoo.com. Again, that is southgaterealtalk@yahoo.com. You can also message me on Facebook at facebook.com/Southgate Real Talk. Feel free to comment or message me on the page right there. I will be sure to get back to you. I read every message and email, and I use that to make subject matter for what we talk about on this podcast. Now today's episode is going to be, I'm really kind of stoked and geeked out right now. We're going to be talking with Thomas Buckley from the Southgate Police Scatter page, and had a great conversation with him. So let's get right to it. And welcome back. I have a very special guest for everybody. I've been looking forward to this for actually a couple of weeks. It's been a challenge trying to tie him down, but I'm sure you all know and recognize him by now for his work in this community the past, 4 or 5 years already. So our guest today is Mr. Thomas Buckley. Thomas, how you doing?
Hey, RJ, I'm doing well. How about you?
Hey, I'm doing beautiful. You know, aside from having a nice cup of tea right now, I don't know if it's tea or water, but
Oh, I don't know. I think it's anybody's guess right now.
Right. So, hey, thanks for coming on. I know we've been going back and forth for a minute, but
Yeah,
you know, you're
thanks
here.
for having
and,
me, man. Dude, I was looking forward to this. I mean, this is a great opportunity to reach out to the community. The fact that you've got the world's, I should say Southgate's best podcast. I mean, it's really cool.
Thank you. But you know what? You actually had a good hand in that success. So I want to thank you for allowing me to your platform to share this information with everybody. So let's get started with this. Some things that folks want to know, listeners. I reached out to a lot of those, subscribers that we have. So I'm just going to read off some of the questions that community wants to know about you. I guess you're kind of like a rock star out here in Southgate. I don't know if you knew that.
I don't know about that. I'm definitely a food junkie, though, along with Greg.
All right. One of the things that folks want to know is what started Southgate Police Scatter?
Oh, well, that's a good question. Well, my dad was a truck driver, and when I was a kid, I used to ride along, in the truck, and he had this really cool scanner radio. So, well, like fast forward to March 2016, because that's really when I started this. There was a storm here in Southgate, and I was walking in the rain, and I noticed the power was out, and I figured it'd be kind of cool to get a scanner and listen in, just like when I was a kid. You know, maybe I could find out some news about the city. So I bought a scanner, heard some really cool audio, and figured, hey, I'd like to share that with the community. And as they say, the rest is history. It's just really all parlayed from there.
Yeah, it really took off because I remember just watching it, and when I first joined Scanner, it just totally blew up. I mean, it was literally like a news station, like a credible news station. Now there was like the hub for information in the city.
Oh yeah, well, people were asking, what's going on in my block. They knew that we were putting out the audio, and it became a community page really quickly because people were wondering very specifically what's going on here. I see cops over there. And so we began to become, basically a news service. And it's just really a dynamic page. It's ever evolving. I don't think we really had any plan for it to be this way, but it's what it's turned out to be.
Well, one thing I do know why it is so successful is that, we can get actual information, like nothing filtered out. It's
Mhm.
all accurate information. And I think that's what the community appreciates. And that's why we tune in, including
Yeah,
myself.
I try my
So,
best, man. It's easier, it looks easy sometimes, but behind the scenes, there are so many crazy checks and balances, verification that we do. Yeah, it's interesting.
well, there's definitely a lot of pages out in our cyber world on Facebook and other platforms, but Scanner does stand out, and that's why it is so
Thank you,
successful
man.
here in the city of
Thank you.
Southgate. So thank
Oh,
you for
thank you.
that. You're pretty involved in the city,
Mhm.
obviously. What's your opinion on the current state of Southgate right now?
Well, yeah, I get asked this question a lot, actually, especially this year. Our city really does have a lot of issues. We're struggling with a lot of things before us, like homelessness, mental health, substance abuse. Sadly, a lack of leadership, I think, with leadership and trust with our current mayor. But most recently, of course, the brown water, parking issues, because we live in a highly dense city. I mean, I can go on and on, really, but uh, I think one of the best things about our community, about our city, is the community itself. When I see the community coming together to help others, it really does give me hope for future leadership in our city.
Well, I know you get this asked a lot of you also, and including for myself, but why don't you run for city council? You'd make an awesome mayor
Thank you, man.
of this city.
Yeah, I've been asked a lot, and my thing is that I do like to be neutral. Um, I don't know if you know of a person named John Burkow, but he he was Speaker of the House for the House of Commons in England, the UK, I should say. And
I am familiar with them, by the
okay,
way.
great. Well, there you go. Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, if you ever asked me what place I ever wanted to go to, or a dream, fantasy life, it would be as a guest at the House of Commons, just to listen to them. It's so amazing. But what John Burkow does, or what he did, he recently retired. Um, he would basically be the referee. He was the one that made sure the system worked for the people, and it's quite entertaining. So I like that position about what I'm doing. I think that there's a lot of bias, especially nowadays. I mean, not only with our national elections, but just in general, there's a lot of politics. And I think it's refreshing to have someone who's involved with the community, but isn't taking a political stance. So that's what I want to give the community. I want to try to give them something different.
And that's what I was going to move on to. Like, you're literally like the most unbiased person that I know
Oh,
here in Southgate, of all places. But, how do you handle that? Because I know you talk to a lot of
mhm.
people, you talk to a lot of community leaders, including, well, I consider you a community
Thank you.
leader, by the way, and a lot of folks agree with me. But I know you talk to a lot of,
Mhm.
management here in Southgate, a lot of the city council people, and we all know that they're trying to pull you in different directions. How do you
Yeah,
handle that?
well, thank you. I mean, I think the most unbiased person to politics is probably the one who doesn't care about politics. But with that said, yeah, a lot of people get upset, for example, when I call out inconsistencies or corruption, because you know, they get upset because it's toward a council member they support. And I get that. I mean, I guess it's like a human reaction. But there's two things. One, I don't take part in team politics. Uh, I think that's a terrible mindset to have, team politics, because, um, it really inhibits people from thinking objectively. And two, if we don't allow, I should say, if we do allow corporate politicians to stay in office, it's not their fault, it's our fault. So I really don't care who our residents vote for, but I do want them to vote. I just I want those who are elected to represent our community fairly and with honesty. For as much as I want to get out there and vote myself for council members, local issues, I don't. I reluctantly forego that right to vote because I want people to know I support whomever the community chooses, not who I would choose. Um, And in staying unbiased, I think my focus is on the civics, not the politics. A lot of people have a hard time distinguishing between the two. So let me just say, like I was saying earlier, a referee. I'm a community referee of the system. I make sure the system stays equal and works fairly for everyone. That includes the elected politicians and the people who voted for them. But here's something most people don't know about. Now that you bring this up, I don't know if you're ready for this, but I would say about 99% of the people in Southgate don't know what I'm about to tell you. And that is, Scanner is...
Hold on. Let me get the exclusive sounds out right now. Okay. Breaking news. Okay, let's do it.
Here we go. Scanner is the only major community page in our city that is not managed by a city commissioner. All of the other pages in Southgate have a city commissioner as the admin of that page. That's pretty crazy. A lot of people don't know that, but it's true. Commissioners are appointed by a city council member, and I've received that, like we were talking about, I've received that offer more than once, but I've always turned it down just because I really do love to be independent and unbiased. But it's an interesting thing. I have no city department or colleagues I need to defend. I'm free of my burdens in that regard. And that allows me to stay true to my community without having my hands in the murky water of politics. I think the only team that I really represent is our community.
And I think that's pretty evident just by your body of work. But being that, also you mentioned like teams, kind of like the recent presidential election we had. It was either you were Team Trump or Team Biden. There was like really no in between. So with that mindset, I know folks sometimes don't understand what you're saying. So how do you handle like negativity that's directed at you by those that just want you to stay quiet? Like Tom, I don't want to hear the truth. I want to hear just birds and songs and nice things about my person, because that's basically what it is. We're so vested in some of these politicians and figures that we just can't see the bad things that they do. How do you handle that when somebody approaches you or even gets negative with you? Yeah,
negativity. It's funny. I listen to Joe Rogan a lot. He calls it a bucket of crabs. That's what he calls it, because the bottom crabs always try to pull down the top crabs. And it's goodness. It's an interesting thing that he says. But it's definitely a common occurrence for anybody on social media that has a huge following. I think there's always people who don't like the person with that page. But to be honest, I really don't mind. It's not my burden. It's their burden. They're the ones who have to lug around that anchor of discontent. I'm not poisoned by their hatred. I'm just here to help others in the community. It's why we have Scanner. I'm not getting paid for this, but I love my job, and I wish everyone mental health and peace. I think some people are just maybe stressed with life, and some people are very unstable, emotionally. All I can say is that I wish them well, and I hope they can redirect their focus maybe for something productive. They have the energy, they have the time, so with that, they can become better people.
That's a good way. But I mean, I know you've listened into city council meetings. I have also, and unfortunately, that's not the case, because I find it very often that you are the subject of their hatred, their rants, their what's wrong with their life. And I often ponder sometimes. I'm like, how is Thomas responsible for X, Y, and Z? In their life?
I think it's deflection. I think it's trying to put the blame of one thing onto another person. People do that in human nature, and it's not fair to the recipient of that. But like I said, it's not my burden. I don't wear it like a wet shirt. It's not mine to bear. It does not have my name on it. They may attribute it to me, but I claim no ownership of what they're attributing because it's not mine. I have other things to do. I have a community that I have to look out for. I have a business I have to run. I have a family I have to provide for. I've got a lot of things on my plate. And the last thing I need is to, placate to people who are acting negatively against me. I just don't have time for it. I think I'm more emotionally mature, than to, like I said, than to placate into that.
Yeah, not to drag this subject on, but it's something that I find hilarious is the sister
Mm-hmm.
groups, the what do you call them, the
Mm-hmm.
doppelganger pages that are made from you, the I
Yeah.
hate Thomas pages. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I
Well,
mean, I think I often kid, it's almost like an ex-girlfriend, that you have that is just like angry with
yeah.
you. You're like such a nice guy, and it's like,
Yeah,
why are you
yeah,
so
it can
mad
be very
about it?
emotional for some people. Like I said, what can I say? I don't understand a lot of that sentiment, and I just don't own it. I don't claim it. It's not something I sleep, to and wake up to. It's really not part of my life. That's again their burden, not mine.
So, okay, let's move along to something else now. I know we kind of touched on this, but what makes Southgate Police Scanner so successful? Like, if there's one thing you can put on it, what would
Oh
it be?
gosh, I don't know if there's any one thing. I mean, well, I could say this much. Let's make it into two things. One on what we're doing as admins, maybe, and then one where it's about the community. Because I think it takes both. As admins, for example, we don't. You probably know this, but we don't allow unnecessary drama. We like to keep things mature. Um, a lot of members have trouble containing their emotions, and for those, unfortunately, we have to remove them from the group. You've probably heard me say it before, but I call it pruning the tree. You have to prune. Yep.
Oh
You
goodness,
have to prune the
yes.
tree.
That that's something my grandmother used to say about
Yeah.
quite
I mean,
often.
you have
But
to
yeah,
prune the tree because if you have to remove some of the parts that aren't growing so that the tree itself can grow. And that's how we've ended up with awesome members. And I think another thing that we do as admins is we provide evidence. Otherwise, it's just pure conjecture. Whether that's showing evidence of brown water, corruption of the politics, showing pictures, videos, documents, all that stuff. That's all very important. Just like when I interviewed all the city council members, February of 2020, I also released all of their financials to the public for everyone. So that's very important. But going back to the second part that I was saying, I do think the most successful part of Scanner is really the membership. It's the people of the community. It's amazing seeing through the times of crisis and peril, our members, they come here to Scanner to network, and they do it really quickly, whether it's an earthquake, power outage, COVID, and it just benefits everyone. We get a lot of inside information, and I've always kept their trust. I don't backstab people with their own secrets that they gave me, not even if they turn out to be my enemy. And that's why Scanner has so much breaking news for the community. It's because of the trust that we've established, the membership, the integrity of the page. And in the end, the community is going to win, and they do win. And the community is the one who ends up truly being successful.
I'm just baffled that you actually go out and try and get proof of what's being put out there.
Yeah,
I don't think I've seen that here in
it can be a
Southgate.
lot of work. Like I said on the first example, getting all those financials for the council member candidates. There were 6 candidates, and we got financial statements for all of them. It was a lot of work, and unfortunately, I can't tell you the entire process, but needless to say, there was a lot of work involved, and it was a team effort. And so sometimes there are residents that'll help, and they wish to stay anonymous, and I respect that.
Now, since we're on Scanner and
Mhm.
admins type of thing, what's the process if somebody wanted to post something like a subject on Scanner?
Well, yeah, it is a process. I, maybe it's something I should tell the public more, tell our members more, but only about 10 to 15% of all of the posts that we get are actually approved. To put it another way, we decline about 85% of the posts. And that may sound harsh, but if we were to approve everything, our page would be junk. There's so much clickbait out there. There's like a lot of political posts about people's personal problems and drama. Um, and on that note, I got to say, a lot of people take their posts very seriously. Some people have a sense of, I hate to say it, but like a sense of entitlement, like we're supposed to approve their post every time. And it just doesn't work that way. We have 18,000 members, 18,000 members. And yeah, and they're
Wow.
all real members. I mean, not like the fake ones we've seen, you know where. On top of this,
Oh, I can. I'll just say it. I mean, there's one page that it's based in Bangladesh.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I know
practically.
exactly what you're
Yeah,
talking
practically.
about.
It's a Southgate/Bangladesh page. Yeah, exactly. Well,
Yeah.
all of our 18,000 members are actually legit. In fact, we only approve about half of the members that are applying. So we keep it real. We do keep it real. So to answer your question, we look at the relevance. Is it relevant to the community? Did we already answer the post, the question in another post? We do look at it. It is a huge process, especially with COVID-19. There was a lot of validation we had to do. The incident that happened at Calden Apartments, I don't know if you remember, but in April, yeah,
I do.
we
I do.
reported the first death in Southgate. Unfortunately, that was due to COVID. And that was a hard truth. I mean, we talk about hard truths being controversial and terribly inconvenient. I mean, this was a tough one. But there was so much information going back and forth. And honestly, I think I had just enough evidence to validate it in my mind and in my heart that what I was hearing was real. And so I made the post. And because of that post, we were able to give our residents at Calden Apartments a 21-hour advance notice about what was happening because nobody was saying anything. And there's other cases too, like the teacher with meningitis and other past events where we've been able to break the news. So going back to what you're saying, yeah, it is a process. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, but it's really how we get the news delivered to the community quickly and accurately.
Just on Southgate alone, and again, because
Mm-hmm.
people want to know your opinion, what do you see the future of Southgate being?
Wow.
As in, like, politics,
Well,
development?
I got to say I'm an optimist, but I'm also a realist. I think the future is what we make of it. I know that's simple. I know that's cliche, but it's true. I'm doing my part with scanners so that our community can be safe and aware. Throughout the years, I've received an abundance of support in doing what we're doing. And that's great. It feels wonderful knowing that there are also people out there who love and appreciate it. All of us have some kind of talent, something that we can implement and share with others to make a better future for our city. And I think as long as we keep doing that, we treat our community like family, we take care of one another, we look out for each other, then honestly, I think we have a bright future ahead of us.
I couldn't agree with you more, but I'm a realist also.
I am too.
So-
And I can't get specific because I don't know what the future holds, but I do know what the precepts are. I do know what the motivation is and how we have to enter
Right.
that future. I think as long as we have each other, as long as we have community, no matter what the obstacles are, we're going to be okay.
Yeah, I always use it as a metaphor, like the city, the relationship is like a personal relationship we have with like our spouse or significant
It's
other.
very much like
you know.
family.
Right. And anything that starts off with lies or deceit always ends badly. And when you're honest and truthful, those are the relationships that obviously last
Very true.
a lifetime.
That is
really.
very true. Yeah, it's we know what happened in April of 2020 and how we started out, we've talked about it a lot, so I'm kind of hesitant to even speak about it again, but we know the mayor became mayor through deceit, through lying. It's all in public record. And then to further antagonize the situation, she brought in the president of the POA, the Southgate police officer, to enforce her policies. And it was pretty ugly. And it's very sad. I don't take it personally, but I guess I do in some degree, but that's not why I'm upset. I'm upset that it happened to a resident. It just so happened to be me, but I'm concerned that it would happen to someone else.
Right.
And that's what really hurts me, is that it could happen to someone else. And I even asked the mayor, are you going to allow this to happen to another resident? and I've never gotten an acknowledgement or a straight answer from her. And
Oh, you won't. You won't. She doesn't acknowledge basically anything, and that's evident. But I did. We did cover this in an
yeah,
episode. Your story, especially giving them an out before they even voted on it to do the right thing,
yeah,
and they still went back
yeah.
on their words and stuff.
It's a sad
So
situation, but I got to say that's probably why I am hopeful of the future. I'm hoping it can't get much more worse than the present. So there's got to be a better future than there is a present.
I hope so. I hope
I
so. We'll
do.
pray for it,
Thank you.
Tom. We'll pray for it. Hey, are you ready for some off the wall
Oh boy.
questions?
Sure.
Okay, so again, I reached out to a lot of our subscribers.
Mhm.
I sent out a mass email just requesting questions that they wanted to ask you and find out. So I'm
Okay.
gonna start firing them off, okay? What is your favorite shoe?
My favorite shoe are Asics. I do a lot of walking. I walk every single night. That's a great question, by the way. I walk every single night, and I like to wear Asics.
The next one is, what is your favorite
My
food?
favorite food, that's a tie. That's a tie between burritos and enchiladas and beans.
Okay, you got. I think you have a preference on the burritos, right? They have to be a specific made a specific way, I think,
Well,
right?
I make my own burritos. No, well, actually, I used to go to El Pollo Loco, um, and they actually make the best homemade slash fast food burritos. So if you're ever looking for like a fast food burrito, that's the place to go to. If I'm gluttonous, I'm going to go to Del Taco. But yeah, I like beans. I mean, my grandmother used to make fantastic bean burritos. And then at my aunt's house, she would make fantastic bean burritos. So it's really a childhood experience for me.
Wow,
Oh,
brings back those
absolutely.
memories, right?
Absolutely. I love those.
Uh, do you have any
Any
hobbies?
hobbies? I love astronomy. Of course, videography, photography. It's what I do for a living, but they say that if you do what you love for a living, it's not really work. It's partially true. I do like to game. I'm a bit of a PC gamer.
Oh, really? What
Um,
kind of games are you into?
Depends. Right now, I'm more into casual gaming only because um, just my lifestyle. I don't have too much time to play, but I like casual gaming, first person shooters, open world games. Definitely, I like those. I like to escape. If I can escape into a game and it's immersive, then that's probably a game I'll like. Um, so yeah, that's what I like.
Okay, I'm gonna say this person's just her first name. Her name
Okay.
is Frances. She wants to know what makes you smile, and she had the most questions about you, by the way.
A
That's
lot
why
of
I'm
things
mentioning
make
her
me
name.
smile. Oh gosh, I don't want to get emotional, but thinking of my dad, some good memories that him and I have had, that makes me smile. Um, Helping someone in the community, it makes me smile. It makes me feel good. And to get away from the mushy stuff, I mean, I've got a great sense of humor. I think I find humor in the silliest things sometimes, and sometimes even the darkest moments. I mean, I do have a bit of levity, and I think we need it to maintain our sanity. So
Right?
yeah, so I smile quite often. I really do smile often because I I think for the most part I enjoy life, and I appreciate the phenomenon called life. And so I don't know. I think I'm always smiling. To be honest with you, I mean I don't know. It's kind of a tough question to answer, but
There's probably
yeah,
several things,
it's a
right?
tough thing to answer because there are so many things that make me smile. A good song, great memories, but again, I think really helping the community. I think that uh, that that makes me whole. It validates my existence. I think.
I'll answer this other question that
Yeah.
Francis had. Yes, Francis, Thomas is
Yes.
married. Just for the record, right?
Yes, I'm married.
You are married, right?
I'm married with three beautiful kids as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
And finally, what do you like to do in your spare time?
Uh, I like to go outside of my comfort box, my comfort zone. I do like to walk. I walk 5 miles every day. I like to learn new things, especially now, unfortunately, with COVID-19. A lot of people are out of jobs and routines have changed, but I've taken this time to sort of re-innovate myself, to learn new skills. And I think as long as we keep learning, uh, life is interesting. Life is, you wake up every day wanting to do something different. And so, to answer your question, what do I do in my spare time? I like to learn. I like to learn about different things. Um, Lately, I even shared with you back when we filmed at the American Legion, I bought a bunch of vintage camera lenses. One of them was from a Russian, USSR, I should say, is from I think it was Belarus, back when it belonged to the USSR. Minsk, the capital of Belarus, sorry. And I bought a vintage lens from there, and it's fantastic. Um, the
Right. I remember you're
Oh
you're
yeah,
pretty
actually, I
pleased
have
about
one
it,
that's
right?
radioactive, but um,
Right, right. I remember you
yeah.
telling me the story about
So
that.
anyway, yeah, I like to learn new things, RJ. I like to just kind of. Um, I don't want my life predictable every day. I want something different to happen. A lot of times, that's in learning new things.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. I do the same. That's kind of like going to the movies by yourself, right? Obviously before COVID, but not many
Yeah,
people can do that,
I got
right?
to be honest with you. I've never done that, but who knows? Maybe I will. But when I walk, I love looking at Christmas lights. I am a moth to the Christmas lights. I don't know what
Oh
it is.
gosh,
Oh
there's
my
so many
gosh,
good ones.
it's beautiful. It's
So many.
just it's so tranquil, and it's a reprieve from all of this craziness that's going on in our lives. And we get to walk. I get to walk and just appreciate just lights. I mean, photography, for example. That again, that's my job. What is photography? It's, if you break down the word, it's writing with light. Photo is light and ography is writing. So writing with light, I just love looking at lights and just the spirit of Christmas. And I love this time of year.
And it's very tranquil, kind of like a little sense of normalcy
Absolutely.
almost,
Well, it's
right?
normalcy, but it's also um, the closest thing we have to paradise, the closest thing we have to uh, something ethereal. Just it's beautiful. It's just a beautiful atmosphere to see all the lights on the homes. So, yeah, I'm a moth. I'm definitely a moth when it comes to lights.
If you get a chance, go by Ardmore. I was there. I took the family driving around, and there's like 5 houses that are definitely
Wow.
competing with each other. There, I'll shoot you the ad. Well, actually, I'll post up the ad, the
Oh, very
block
cool.
because they're definitely
Yeah.
competing. Yeah, it's pretty delightful. Tom, is there anything else that you want to throw out there right
No, I'm
now?
good. I mean, I'm just glad you had me on the podcast. I think people in the community need something like this. I know what you're doing, RJ, is very different. I I hope the community. I guess what I'm trying to say is I hope you can encourage the community through your deeds, through your work, that they also have a voice, just like you do. That they can also speak up against anything they feel is wrong about our city. And it doesn't have to be corruption. It doesn't have to be, big things. It can be the very small things. It's okay to speak your voice. It's okay to, call into a city council meeting. I wish more residents did that, because if you look at the affluent cities, those residents are all in that council meeting and they're taking part because they know they have an interest, and that their city works for them. And that's the way it should be. So RJ, I just really do commend you for what you're doing. Um, I hope it does encourage others in our community to have the courage to speak out, to have the courage to voice their opinion at city council meetings. And aside from that, I'm very thankful to be here, and I'm very, very thankful for this community. I love our community of Southgate. It is family to me. It is absolutely family. It's why I address this community as Scanner family, because every one of our members and all the people in our community are family to me.
And just so you folks that are listening right now, I can literally talk to Thomas for about 3 or 4 hours if
Yep,
time permitted
that's right.
on and almost any subject. But again, thank you, Thomas,
Thank you
for
so much,
coming
RJ.
on. I really do appreciate it. I really do. And thank you for your hand in the success of this. And as always, verify the information. That's what I tell all the listeners to is to don't just take my word for it.
Right.
Look it up. Find out for yourself if what I'm saying and what everybody else is saying is factual. And you're absolutely right about city council meetings. Your voice means just as much as my voice.
Absolutely.
We're all equal in that sense. And thank you again, Tom. I really appreciate it. You're a huge asset to this community. You actually have like literally a news station with police scanner.
Yeah, well, I never thought I'd turn into it, but I just let the community sort of guide me, and I'm just here. I'm just one gear in the entire Gearworks.
Oh, I think it's more than that. I mean, when people trust your word, your page, your group versus the actual city, the city government, the body, there's a problem there.
There is.
There's a big
I
problem
think we're sort of the alert system for our city. I mean, even our city manager said that, and I thought it was a huge compliment. But we do everything we can, make videos for small businesses, raise money for our members, like El Zapatero.
Absolutely. I showed my daughter that video again, just to let her know what it is to give. There's I know it was a great thing for him, but just the way you presented it, the way you showed giving to the community in those few minutes was just incredible.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Sounds good. Well, Tom, thank you again.
Thank you, RJ. I appreciate it too.
And
all right,
I'll see you
good.
online, sir.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's the end of this episode. I hope it was entertaining. It certainly was for me. Thanks again to Mr. Thomas Buckley from the Southgate Police Scanner Group for joining me and basically telling the story to everybody. The next episode, we'll be following up again on the toxic water epidemic we have here at Southgate. Until then, God bless and have a great week. Bye.